Hey, Brainiacs, welcome back to the Thursday Thistory. We're going to be talking a little bit about the history of burnout, and in specific, burnout for care providers and advocates of one thing or another. You have a lot of people who are in the helping services, both at a individual level, healthcare, social advocacy, working with people who come in to, say, individually get some help. And then you also have people working on a more macro level who are lobbying for change or trying to run a charity, or you have NGO programs that have both individual help and also help with governmental programs and other needs like that all throughout the world. Well, of course, as it is not surprising that these individuals who do this are subject to what they call secondary trauma, or to advocacy burnout, or healthcare provider burnout, or just a lot of other ways to say that this be hard stuff that you have to be exposed to. If we're looking at healthcare workers, the numbers we're looking at around 2017, 2018 was about a 32% rate of burnout when they researched that. That number went up to 50% in 2022. And I guess, you could guess where some of that might come from with the pandemic and the COVID epidemic and stuff like that. And you see the same type of numbers when you look at people with nonprofit employees or NGOs or non-government organizations. 50% approximately burnout, and many of those people in both industries will actually leave the industry. You're also seeing a lot of dynamics now where people who are just interested citizens that engage in advocacy or contribute to charity or are just trying to do something that they believe is socially or environmentally conscious. Look at the way they're voting, sending letters to their congressmen or senators, or actually engaging in the work of doing recycling or more in-depth stuff, that to types of advocacy where they spread messages on social media even. Any of those things do contribute to a sort of burnout that is related to this same type of burnout, which is I'm trying to help, right? And then, that's what happens is we get burned out from that type of help. Oftentimes, it's because we are up close and personal with an issue or a cause. We are educating ourselves, and in some cases, of course, with frontline care and frontline nonprofit employees, you are directly witnessing and taking part in things that are traumatic. The term burnout was first used in the 70s. In 1974, a psychoanalyst named Herbert Freudenberger and a psychologist who's a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, Christina Maslach, coined this term of burnout and started to study these dynamics. Or at the very least, they were credited with using the term and bringing it into the common speech around when people were talking about this issue. Freudenberger in particular was working at a substance abuse clinic in New York City, putting in long hours like a lot of people do when they are, doing something for a good cause and also trying to help individuals. There's a story here that I've read, and I'm borrowing some of this or reading some of this from The Fascinating History of Burnout by Ariana Huffington. You can find this on her LinkedIn, or you can just Google it and find it a couple different places. But she lays out a little bit of this history. But there's a story here to where he was finally convinced by others to take a vacation with his family. He was experiencing sort of psychological breakdown, nervous breakdown type of symptoms. And he worked up until, the night before the flight for this vacation, went home, crashed, and then in the morning woke up but could not get himself to get out of bed and go on vacation. So he missed the flight. Because of this, he recorded himself talking about this experience so he could kind of learn more about it. And reportedly, as he listened back to it, he was shocked by the amount of anger that he could hear in his voice, and obviously exhaustion as well. This led him to do research amongst his own colleagues at the clinic, and it really kicked off a lot of research that started a lot of studies into this term burnout. It was apparently the initial use of the word burnout came from addiction and drug use kind of thing. Someone's a burnout because they're suffering from drug or alcohol abuse. But then it started being applied, and this is actually something that you see a lot when it comes to the therapy world and the mental health field. Is that things that are confined to one specific group of people.